Here we go, book 15. This will be the last stage in this one, stage 58. Got a bunch of cables, some LEDs, another piece of the skeletal structure. First step in stage 58, we got another one of these little lock pins and spring assembly situations going on here. Put the spring on. Same thing like we did in the last stage. We're going to slide this or pop this into place in this little cutout area. Make sure it's all the way in there. This one's a little tight. Look at that. I got some like extra paint or something right there. I got to clean that out. Okay, there we go. I just used my knife. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera. You can see the shiny little area, but I just had to carve it out, and it was actually just like a thin little layer of metal covering up those holes kind of front, and it was impeding the free movement of this little lock pin and spring. Let's see if this does the trick. Make sure it's all the way in. Okay, yeah, that's going to work. Now, get the little cover in place. And what are we doing here? 2 AM screws. Snug. And snug. Let's double check that pin. Make sure it, yeah. Plunger mechanism there. Make sure they're both free. So I'm sure that'll be important to pop this guy on later. That's it for the nacelle portion of this stage. Set this to the side. Now we've got some lights. Different size wires here. Alright, saucer upside down. This is the front of the saucer. Grab the only red cable with LED that came in this stage. This one is, I think, 58H. This one goes in the front, but we need to plug into our first power control board, our PCB, and we're going to plug it in right here. That one's labeled B. All these little ones here are labeled B, but it's showing to plug it into the second one in. Okay, there it is, plugged in right there. Now we're going to route this cable. Pretty easy, just route it underneath this skeletal structure that we put on last stage. Feed it all the way over like that. And then it's just going to duck out right under here for now. Next step, grab the bundle of green and white wires. There's 2 of them. The longer 2, they were kind of grouped together. One of them has a larger connector. One of them has a small end. Grab the one with the larger one, 58F. Set aside this other one. Be careful because you do have 2 other green and white wires with the same size connector on them. If you do get them mixed up, just measure them out. You can see you only have one that's longer. Grab this one, the long one, 58F. And up here, since we're up here on PCB board 1, so we're going to connect it to this larger one right here in the middle, and then there's a small one we'll use next, but on the side here it may not show up. They're actually labeled W. So this first one, connects there, and we're going to route this underneath as best we can, underneath this skeletal structure all the way around to the back of the saucer. Okay, now back up to the front PCB board. Now we're connecting in this other W socket, the smaller one, grabbing the 58G, the long green and white cable with LED, and the small pigtail connector right here. So this time we're going the opposite way, and we're going to feed in across this board, and we're going to take this inside track here. I'm going to use these to help me feed this around. You're going to go over and under several of these. So we're going to go under this one. That's going to help keep that cable in place and tidied. We're going over. Over, and you can probably feed either over or under. I'm going to go ahead and go under this cable bundle here. And then we should have, looks like, oh yeah, so this post right here, we're actually going to want to feed this under. That'll help keep this cable tidied. There's a little channel to route it under. Maybe unnecessary, but trying to follow the instructions as close as possible. Then back up, and I may have this battery pack in the way. That can be moved. Make sure we have enough slack in our cable. They actually want this to feed under this last rib here. So right here, it's going to feed under there. There we go. And then under and under. Come on out. There we go. Haha, we did it. That should be enough slack. Alright, now grab, what is this, 58E, the smaller. It's long, but it's the smaller of the bundle of green and white wires. You have two of them, with a larger pigtail, and it's going to plug into one of these. So you have a G and a R on this the front of the saucer again, PCB 1. Plugged in right there. And now this one, and it's important you do here or here, because these are going to flash. But now we're going to kind of follow this routing that we did on that first wire, except we're going to dip out on the side of the saucer. Okay. Alright, so here we are on the side of the saucer. So this is where this one is going to wind up for now. Grab our other 58E, green and white. Length is the smaller of the long one. This time we're going to plug it in. Back on PCB 1. We're going to plug it into this one that's actually labeled R on the other side. Right next to the one we just did. If I can actually get it in there correctly. Connected. And we're going to take a little bit different route, kind of similar as this other one. We're going to go over the board through this middle channel and dippy-doo under this one again. And we are going to want to, after we dippy-do under this one, get our slack, we're going to actually come out this channel right here. So our center of the side of the saucer is right here. So we're going to dip out here, come under this channel, and under the next one as well. Pull our slack out carefully, make sure we're okay, not bound up. That should be good. We are on the side of the saucer with that one. Okay. Wow. It probably looks a little harder than it actually is. It's kind of difficult to show. There's such a spaghetti mess of wiring here, but just feed it around to where they need to go. Take your time. We will test those lights, but next step is actually to install this piece. So we have another piece of the lower skeleton of the saucer. A little bit closer view here. I want to make sure I don't crush this front LED wire here. These wires, they have slack, so make sure they're up clear. There's a little post right there. So this does have to be underneath this area. How do we do this without getting it crushed? That's the question. I'm going to hold it right there. Take our skeletal frame, and this piece actually right here on this corner has to feed underneath this post right there, and this has to keep from getting crushed. Okay. What a stupid design. Just absolutely stupid. Okay, so this wire is going to be crushed there because I can't keep it out of the way. There's just no way I'm able to get this wire out of the way. I've got to get it dipped under somehow. It can't be crushed in between those two. No way. That cannot be it. How stupid. I'm going to try to dip it under these wires. May or may not work. I got to keep it out of the middle of those. Okay, maybe that's going to be it. Okay, now make sure it doesn't get crushed over here. Right there, make sure those wires are clear. Where that post is going to screw down. Gotta get all your wires clear at this stage. I got wires trying to get crushed everywhere. This is, I don't know if I've said this before, this is a stupid design. This is like the stupidest design. And this kit is so expensive once you add it all up. It's just, these wires are nonsense the way they have them done. Whoever designed this, you suck. Alright, we're going to have 8 BM screws to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, take your time, don't crush any cables. Okay, now we should have 4 FM screws on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 FM. AM screw right here. Connects these two together. And we have our wire, and I mean, it's kind of pinched in there. There's no other way I could do it though. I have enough slack, I do believe. Man, that's bogus. Let's test it. Okay, it works. And so this one should be solid. That's on the front of the saucer. Then you have the one on the side, the two on the back, and then the other one on the side. So those all flash in unison. That is completion of stage 58. Thanks for hanging out, subscribing, sharing, being cool in the comments. That also finishes out book 15. I'll give you just a, if you don't know, in the back of these books there's a little behind the scenes stuff in there. I'm not going to get in depth in this one, but this was a cool episode. Tin Man. I wish they'd gone a little more in depth. They just kind of left you hanging like it's a living spaceship, but they don't really explain a lot of it. Oh, there's Sarek when he came in. Here's a little interesting bit. Apparently Walter Koenig, Chekhov, came and visit the Next Generation when they were filming, let's see, an episode with Sarek. That's kind of cool. I don't think he actually wasn't ever in, unlike McCoy, he wasn't ever in the Next Generation, but the movies with the original crew and the Next Generation, some of them were being filmed at the same time, so they would kind of cross over on the sound stages. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Sharing all that stuff. Shout out to Eaglemoss. I know he wants this kit really bad. Boom.